Movies engage two senses, vision and hearing. When it comes to hearing and sound, what we hear from the screen can be just as significant as what we see on screen. This week, we watched the second half of 2001: A Space Odyssey, directed by Stanley Kubrick, and focused on Chapter 9 and the concept of sound. Winston Ryder and H.L. Bird were the two main forces when it came to sound in this film. Both men worked alongside of Kubrick to produce the sharp tones and emphasis to its images. Sound is such an important element in this film because the whole film only has about 30 minutes of dialogue. In the fourth edition of Looking at Movies, the sources of film sound is defined as the location from which a sound originates. When we talk about sources, we are talking about the implied origin of that sound and whether it's a production sound or a post-production sound. For example, the sound of loud footsteps coming down the hallway may have technically been constructed in a sound studio after the film was completed. However, the source of that sound is implied on screen, for instance, the character walking. Ryder and his team do a brilliant job with source of sound, also known as diegetic or non-diegetic sound. Most diegetic sound gives us awareness of both spatial and temporal dimensions. There are several examples throughout the second half of 2001: A Space Odyssey regarding diegetic sound. However, the scene that best portrays this is when Hal the computer malfunctions and Dave is forced to shut him down in an attempt to save one of his own crew members, Frank.
Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal.
Hello, Hal, do you read me? Hello, Hal, do you read me? Do you read me, Hal?
Do you read me, Hal?
Hello, Hal, do you read me?
Hello, Hal, do you read me? Do you read me, Hal?
Affirmative, Dave. I read you.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
What really sets this scene apart is not its score or its dialogue. It is its use of silence. This silence enhances the images in this scene, like Dave waiting for Hal to reply. An article written called Computer Malfunction, Film Synopsis Part 12, Frank's inevitable death is described. When Frank's air hose has been cut off, we hear the utter silence of space. It's eerie, shocking, and unexpected. The film's use of silence and sounds that we may classify as normal, like heavy breathing and computer noise, is what really illuminates the images of this film. Another film that uses sound to further portray its story is Christopher Nolan's 2010 Inception. Like 2001: A Space Odyssey, Nolan uses sound to help tell the story. The fourth edition of Looking at Movies describes Inception's use of sound as multi-layered and deeply textured, incorporating a bold and aggressive mix of sounds and music that complement the vivid and visual and special effects. Both films have a sense of special and temporal reality that really helps sound to help the audience understand what is happening. Overall, the use of sound effects, score, and no sound at all play an important role in how the themes and ideas of film are expressed. 2001: A Space Odyssey is a perfect example of how sound can be used in film and why it is so important.